They're like, Australia doesn't have any culture. I'm like, have you been to a fucking Bunnings? They're like, Australia doesn't have a cuisine. I'm like, have you been to a fucking Bunnings? I really think like Bunnings is like Australia's church, you know, because we all go there on a Sunday, you give them all your money, the kids get a mouthful of sausage. I reckon if Bunnings is like our church, and I reckon my real dad is like Jesus, because he once went to Bunnings on a Friday, and on Sunday he fucking never came back. Making TikTok content is a lot like doing comedy.
Yeah.
Because, and comedians find this hard to do because we're happy to bomb in front of people for like 2 years. But if we put up one clip and it gets 100 views, we're like, I'm a failure.
Yeah, that's so
but
true.
All that happened is 7.99999 billion people didn't even see it.
Yeah, yeah, that's fun.
So
yeah.
you just got to like put it out there, learn how to like actually do it, and then just keep, and then eventually you'll fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
And then people will watch it.
That is so true. You like, the in-person rejection is somehow easier to handle than like a corporate rejection that the algorithm just did not pick up your content and push it further.
People find it embarrassing when no one watches their
so
stuff.
Embarrassing, dude.
But really, no one even know it happened.
Right.
No one even know that it happened.
But you have to admit, there are some times where you see like a clip up and then like, you're like, oh, this is not too bad. And you see it and it's like 8 views and you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah,
reshare for mum.
Push it.
Get it back out
My
there.
mum's great. She shares nearly everything.
Shares everything?
I do. Yeah.
How many
yeah.
followers is Mrs. Goundrey rolling with?
198.
198?
Yeah, but each one of them's got 4 greyhounds. So
oh, wow.
collectively,
word spreads in the greyhound community.
If she's watching it on the couch, there's actually five sets of eyeballs on it.
And there are no bots amongst her accounts.
No.
All
good.
verified.
But every fringe festival I do in Perth, Mum brings her workplace.
Yep.
She brings the 12 girls.
Yep.
And also the 6 other ones that she goes to Singapore with every year and buys shoes. She goes, my son, he's doing the thing. Get down, front row.
So good, man.
Yeah, bless her.
And you got to write nude. Are they real harsh critics as well? They're like, Jarryd, I heard that closer before.
Nah, but
you
they
keep writing.
They want
Jarryd.
more stuff about her.
Oh,
they're like,
real?
yeah, rip on Jen.
Rip on Jen.
Yeah.
You don't rip on Jen too. I mean, I haven't heard too much Jen material.
But I will when she's there.
Ah, sure.
And I
You
might
amp
even
it
put
up.
like a normal, something that's not even bitty in there. I'm like, Mum does my washing. And
and they're like, oh, good stuff, Jen.
that 12 plus the 6 crushes to them. And
then you're like, and also we had a complicated relationship. Oh, it's getting real dark in front of
Also
her
was
workmates. Yeah. Why did she stand by while Dad? No. Oh, that's the dark stuff. That's good fun. Well, man, listen, it's good to see you back. We'll just get into some TikTok content. We've gigged together before, but I like to do a little bit of research before we sit down. It's always fun. A person that I deem more than acquaintance, and I'm learning things about you.
Okay. Well, I'd like to. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what you've researched on me because.
Oh man, it's bad what I've found.
Yeah, okay.
It's some
Finally,
real deep. Yeah, lots of parking tickets as we covered. You're in real trouble with Wilson's. No, I was going to say, I knew you were in the military. I know you were a veteran, if you will. And
veteran.
you 7 years in the military. I wanted to know what brought you to the military. Like, what was the call for the military, and then what got you out of the military?
No word of a lie. Joined the army by mistake. So I was 18 years of age, lived in Perth. All my friends were becoming like electricians, plumbers. It wasn't for me. I knew there was something else out there. My mum said, meet me. She used to work in the city. She said, meet me in the city of Perth. We're going to have lunch. She sends me a text message circa 2005 on my Nokia. I'm going to be an hour late. I'm standing in front of the Army Recruitment Centre. I'll pick up one pamphlet and this dude's like, do you want to watch a video about this? And I said, yep, got time to kill. Got an hour to kill. Showed me this video of like people just having the best time, like shooting rockets, jumping out of helicopters, like
high-fiving and
mopping
stuff.
the floor to like you've worked in showbiz.
Sure.
You can imagine the hard cuts
Yeah.
of like, it's like mopping the floor, playing rugby,
all
shooting
smiling.
a gun.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is amazing.
Wow.
And this dude, you're not supposed to say this, but he said to me, he closed the door behind him and he goes, mate, I'm 18. He goes, do you know how much pussy you're going to get if you're in the army?
And did he follow up with how much?
Well, 8 weeks later, I was showering with 87 dicks.
Yeah.
so he got me good.
If you let him finish, he's like, absolutely not.
And I learned later in my military career that all the people that eventually get posted to what's called in the recruiting office, they just have a laugh when you leave. They're just like, hell yeah, we got another one. Did you get him with the pussy line? And
got him with the pussy line. That's got to be.
Signed up for 4 years, stayed for 7.
Yeah.
It was incredible. It was it's a young man's game. My back feels about 58 now.
Sure. Seems to be a common thing, right?
But it was really good for me. It's I never joined to be like, yeah, Australia or anything like that. I was literally just out for an adventure. got it, traveled the world. Best thing I got out of the military was I saw like 1,000 people say, I can't do this. And then they eventually did something. And it learned that you can just get through things.
And these were the people that you were coming up with through the military, is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
because it's hard. Like physically, it's pretty acutely difficult.
Yeah.
And there's times when people are breaking down and you have that moment where you're like, oh, I can't do this. And then they do it.
Yeah.
That's been really good when I started doing comedy. Because I felt a lot of moments in comedy being like, I can't do this.
Sure.
And it's been nice to have that sort of
Reference point.
Yeah, the bar wasn't so low in my life that I was like, oh, hang on, I've stayed awake for 3 days once. Maybe
Yes.
maybe this bomb wasn't that bad.
I can go out to this pub in Hyden.
Yep.
Some rural town. I can do this.
Like I did a gig once in a pub, and there was just 6 people watching the Greyhounds, and then they didn't know comedy was on, and then before it started, they turned the Greyhounds off, and they went, right, turn around and watch this gig.
That's annoying.
And in that moment, I was like, maybe the army was easy.
Yeah, sure.
I've been in more hostile environments.
I'd rather
in
bomb
comedy.
for real, than get this going. Man, that's good to know. Well, I want to know what got you out of there. Was it like you just injuries, the body?
Nah, so I joined at 18, got out at 25.
Yep.
Different mindset. I got what I wanted. I stayed for longer. And I actually left the military and became a chef, which is random because I was in like a combat role.
Yeah.
And then go into something on the side. I was doing all of this creative
You just
cooking.
love people yelling at you, seems like. That's the thing.
Well,
when
that's
people
it.
just
And
screaming.
being a chef is exactly like being in the army.
Sure.
Different uniform, same amount of tattoos, less knives. Like it's just, it's the same thing. People, you do what you're told. You rock up on time. If you don't do what you're told, you'll know about it.
Sure.
And I naturally crushed that because I was like, oh, this is easy.
Uh-huh.
But it was like the first creative thing that I'd done. The military, by definition, is uncreative. Has to be for it to work. And then that was the first time.
It's like convergent thinking rather than...
Yeah. And then comedy wasn't on the radar at all for me. I feel a bit shamed because I know a lot of people dream about doing this and then they don't get it. But I never thought about doing comedy at all until I was a chef. There was an open mic night in Melbourne and it was on a Tuesday night. Our hospitality weekend started on a Tuesday afternoon. So we used to go to this open mic night to watch the death, to watch the like the train wrecks.
Sure.
And it was like, write your name down, Melbourne. It wasn't even comedy. It was you could do anything. So there was people doing slam poetry.
Oof.
Yeah. One guy...
Shout out to Belowski.
One guy got up as a banana
Oh.
and had a banana in his hand and then peeled the banana. And as he was peeling it, he was like, ah. And it was like voodoo banana act.
That's great.
But
dude.
I explained it just then 6 times funnier.
Oh, yeah. Dude, you nailed that.
It was fucking
I
terrible.
was like, where's this guy going to headline the lounge? Let's get
So-
him here.
so-
Let's fly him over. Put him up. for
So
the
we would
weekend.
go there on a Tuesday, watch all of this just shit happen,
Yeah.
and then talk about it all week
Right.
in the kitchen. We're like, fuck yeah, banana guy.
Banana guy, what a legend,
Yeah,
dude.
but not like in a loving way. just
Sure,
to-
you're like, how has he not killed himself? So
Correct.
crazy.
And then it just started like chipping away at the back of my brain.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what is this wild activity?
Sure, you're like, what
That
other
these-
fruits could I do? He's got bananas down. Maybe I
I'm
could be
just in the
grape.
cool room at work, being like, every good artist steals.
Yeah, exactly. So
And-
you do when do you do your first gig?
Probably 6 weeks after going and watching this
6 weeks. And what year is this?
2017.
Okay. Yep.
And
How does it go?
I'm like, at this point in my life, I'm the funniest dude at work.
Sure.
Hands down.
Just crushing.
I was hilarious in the army.
Yep.
Most people in the army are serious.
Right.
I had all the impressions.
Uh-huh.
I was that guy.
Yep.
And I had all the officers and stuff. I could move like them. And when it's pissing down with rain and you're sitting in a trench filling up full of water,
Captured audience.
I'm like, so anyway.
Yeah.
And crushing. So I'm like, this is going to be easy.
Uh-huh.
Go there, sign my name up. The work crew are there. Bad mistake.
Got to
Don't-
bring them.
Don't do that on your first gig.
No.
And then
Higher stakes, do it.
And then do that, get up there, bomb.
Mm.
Like bomb.
Yeah.
Except for the 5 people that are with me, but they're laughing.
At your pain.
But then as you get along in comedy, you're like, oh, that was a different volume and tone. It was laughing at.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to some comedians after the show, and they were talking about jokes. And I was like, man, I better get some of them.
Sure, they sound great.
I didn't have anything.
Yeah, like
I was
so
just-
what were you? Do you remember what you went up with? You went up with just stories or just
Yep.
some impressions of
Yep.
the military officers
No, I
again?
just talked about our work.
Ah,
But then, like, no one knew any context at all because
Sure.
that's how strangers work.
yep.
And I just
That's how strangers.
and I just died. And I died in front of everyone I worked with.
Strangers. That is exactly how they
So
work.
I bombed for a week.
Right.
Because when I was at work, everyone was going, Goundrey, way.
Hey.
I was banana guy.
Sure.
And I was like, nah, fuck this. So next week, down again.
Mm-hmm.
Try to make something up. Bombed again.
Yeah.
Just, ugh. And then the third week, I said to myself, all right, if this doesn't work, I've done it.
Yeah.
Whatever. I've done lots of hard things in my life. If this doesn't work, I've still got Anzac Day. You know, I've got a couple of medals and I got Anzac Day. I can do it. And then went up there and look, it went all right.
Yeah.
And
Got like a little bit of encouragement.
just every little bit. I mean, I guess when you've never had any laughs, you feel like you're
Sure.
crushing. But if I looked at that now, I was like,
Those little
Jesus.
breathy laughs. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
nice.
It was enough for me to go back for every week for a year.
Yeah, wow.
And then finally someone said, do you want to do this gig for $50? And I was like, what the fuck, you fucking what? You can earn money out of this?
Sure.
And that was it. So I feel, I wish I had that story like, oh, I'd watched Eddie Murphy and I always dreamed of the lights, but didn't even know it was a job.
I like that a lot, and I think a lot of people do have those like delirious, raw, sort of inspirational, like bonded the family together because we couldn't talk about our feelings, and then I became a But I think that I like that one a lot. I really do. Just sort of like in it for the game. You're like, I'm gonna crush this. You didn't, and then you rose to the challenge. It's fun.
I do, and I need to work on this with myself. But I do like adrenaline. I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie.
Sure. Yeah.
Military, helicopters,
Mm-hmm.
rocket launchers.
Yeah.
There's nothing not fun about that.
Yeah. Strangers possibly hating you.
People calling you a baby killer.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
And chef, worked in fine dining, intense, really, really like high pressure, like timing based.
Yeah.
And then when I saw this, I was like, I don't think this could ever be boring,
Yeah.
and which is what I really liked about it.
That's cool.
It's really
God, I've never
exciting.
been so sure that someone gets choked in order to climax in my life, but you're right up there, dude. There's no way you're not the kinkiest guy in all of Australian comedy. Well, that's sick, man. So you traded the camo for the comedy. Are you still? Because I know there's a lot of like mental health stigma in defence and things like that.
Yep.
So how involved are you still with defence and veterans and like charities and things like that? Do you think comedy is important for like veterans and things like that?
I left the military and I didn't really associate it much. I'd been in, and it was a kind of a chapter of my life. And then as you start doing comedy, you need material. So I decided one year to do a show about the military.
Yeah.
And did that at the Melbourne Comedy Festival, and like heaps of veterans came. And I was like blown away. And they were all saying to me like, thank you so much for doing this. And I was like, shit, I just need some gags, man.
Yeah.
And then civilians were going, is that true? Like, because I do in a lot of my shows and acts. If you go into a bookstore and you look at the military section, it's like the hero of this or the blah, blah of that. And I'm just like, by the way, everyone gets boners when they wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the backside of all
the real glimpse through the Hollywood of it.
99% of it's just boring.
Right.
And I talk about that a lot. And then, so I've been to 13 military funerals related to suicide.
Yep.
The figures that go along with it is from 1999 to now, 41 Australian soldiers were killed on active service in war-like environments. The amount of people that have committed suicide just from serving in these theatres is over 1,600, which is staggering.
Wow.
Right? So I've been to 13 military funerals, and then I started doing all this stuff, which I do on my TikTok as well. And it somehow, this little thing that I used to do in my life, I weirdly became like a leader in it,
Yeah.
but I'd put it away.
Yeah.
And now people, I don't know, they look to me for a bit of comic relief,
Yeah, that's great, man.
because it's like it's just blokes in general are terrible at talking about anything.
Totally.
And military, you probably scale that by a factor of 10.
Yeah.
Really stoic, really, like they've done amazing things, but they can't speak about the way they feel, which is a shame.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of people that come to my shows now that aren't in the military, but it might be a kid or like someone who's 30, 40 years of age, and they go, hey, I showed my dad, he was in Gulf War or Vietnam or whatever. I showed him your videos and he was laughing his head off.
Yeah.
And so here he is.
Yeah.
And now there's like a family element that come to the show.
That's awesome, man. That's so good. Like you can give back to the community in an endeavor that you've since moved on from.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Give back to that community.
Yeah. And once again, wasn't on the horizon, and it's been a pleasant surprise, to be honest. Really
Yeah.
pleasant surprise.
No, good on you, man. That's fucking wicked. Well, you did the military show, but then you've recently done a farewell Vanilla Slice tour because the Vanilla Slice, and you told me this, it's going away. So you told me you wanted to tour the country doing gigs and find the best Vanilla Slice in the country. Is that correct? Or have I butchered it?
Tour in 2020, like 2 months before COVID.
Right.
And randomly, always loved bakeries, love Vanilla Slice. Randomly, I ate a Vanilla Slice, took a photo of it, put it on my Instagram story, and said, flaky pastry, smooth filling, 9 out of 10. I've been doing comedy at this stage for like 5 years. No one gave a shit.
Yeah.
My Instagram blew up.
Oh, really?
Like, I got like 75 messages from people being like, got to try the one at Birchup.
Oh,
and I was
wow.
like, what the hell?
You stumbled into like the cult of like bakery lovers.
Randomly. So then everywhere I went on this Outback tour, I did the same thing. And it kind of gathered a bit of weird bakery momentum.
Bakery momentum?
Right. which would be the name of my third show.
Yeah, yeah.
And then had COVID, came back, getting a little bit older, started to feel a bit dodgy, went and saw a nutritionist, and we started isolating things out of the diet. Ended up, boom, dairy, can't eat it.
Oh.
I know. And so I decided, I'm just in the midst of doing my first actual sort of Australian tour.
Right.
And I was like, well, I'm going around, it's the last time I can go around the country and eat, like, I'm going to say farewell to it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to find the best one along the way. And since I've been doing it, people like bring vanilla slices to my show. And I've got to eat like 3 vanilla slices a night.
Oh, and just
in
be
front of them.
shitting your guts out, just
Totally.
going crazy.
I can't wait for the tour to be over.
So good.
I'm trashed.
Your microbiome's just in peril.
Bakeries have been reaching out too. They're like,
Oh, wow.
on the way through, could you just
No,
like
dude.
give us some traction?
You've got power. Is it going to your head and shit? You're
little
going in there
bit.
with like a scarf and glasses.
It's not going to
and
my
you're like-
head. It's going to my fucking gut.
Straight to the tits.
Yeah, it's just straight in the man tits.
That's fucking wild. You got bakeries like fearing you.
But it's good because I was like, oh, this is going to suck. I won't be able to eat all of these things I like.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh,
You
I
hate
can't
it.
wait to see the
Yeah,
back end
you're
of
like,
it.
please.
So it's a bit of closure for me as well.
We'll give the shout out now. Where have you enjoyed the best vanilla slice in the country thus far?
Well, I've found something along the way that, the shitter the town, the better the bakery.
Wow.
So there won't be really a good one.
Shout out to Bunbury, my goodness.
Right?
Oh, great bakery, dude, actually. They're dead set on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a thing. So there's a town in Victoria called Loddon, and there is a pub, a bakery, a post office, and like 8 houses. And you drive past, and there's like 48 people lined up outside this bakery. And they just drive there to get these things. They've won like best vanilla slice like year after year after year. They have these big like events where they
Wow.
blind judge them and all this sort of stuff. It's quite the big deal. And then recently a place called Shepparton in Victoria.
Yeah, my girlfriend's from there.
That place fucking sucks.
It's like one of the worst places of all time.
Best bakery.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't go through. I was just blasting it as fast as I could through the
It's a
town.
good place, for example.
Throwing meth out the window.
I just did a show in Newcastle. Newcastle's great. Shit bakery.
Right.
Sydney.
They got too much
shit.
going on.
Yep.
Yeah, the rich don't know how to eat. That's a good point as
That's
well.
it. So, I mean, I've still got to go around Perth, but yeah, I'm really looking forward. What's a shit place in Western Australia?
Oh, I mean, fuck,
Albany.
take your pick, dude. Just fucking
Everywhere.
close your eyes and point.
I'm excited about touring WA just
Yeah.
quietly.
Yeah, man, that's going to be spicy. So Shepparton, that's a good one. Well, I might have to do a little home tour with her. Listen, man, I wanted to jump into a little stand-up comedy quiz. Actually, I want to tie it in with some silly questions as well, because I know you like your
Sure.
bakery, but we've got the hot sauce here. The worst thing that can happen to a comedian is they bomb, but this is da bomb. We're not sponsored, but throwing it out there regardless. So I'm going to have a little chippy if you would like to join me in solidarity, and then I'm going to
pour it
fire
on?
off. Hey?
Do we pour it on?
Oh my goodness, I usually just dip in, but if you want to pour on, I mean,
Okay.
this is where like that alpha sort of like macho
gotta-
army shit might come in. Like, how much hot sauce you taking,
I've
brother?
got a story. Is that a lot?
That's a decent amount. That's a
Okay.
very, hey, let's cheers me. Cheers to you, sir. No, all right,
I've got a story before I start about.
please
So in the military, before you get Jesus Christ, that's hot.
go on.
Before you get qualified to use tear gas, you have to be tear gassed.
Really?
Pretty good system.
Okay.
And they fill this room full of tear gas, and then you wear a gas mask, and then you go in, and then you got to take off your tear gas and say your serial number, which is like 8 numbers long.
Do you remember yours?
8517558.
He's nailing it. He's good. Oh.
And you get about 3 numbers in, and then you just boom, you just go down. They pull it out. They pull you out the room, throw you out, and wash your face off. Anyway, so I go back home that day, and the gas crystals, they stay in your hair. And I was seeing this girl at the time, and she was there,
Oh no.
and she was like, "How's work?" I was like, "Pretty shit day."
Yep.
She's like, let's go have a shower.
Yep.
We go have a shower.
Oh no.
We start making love in the shower.
No, you gas crystal her pussy.
The steam reactivated the tear gas in my hair
No.
whilst I'm inside her.
Oh.
And we tear gassed each other in the fucking shower.
Hold on, you didn't tear gas each other. You tear gassed her.
I tear gassed her. So like you said, am I into kinks?
Yeah.
I am now.
You're like, and then finish the story. I've never come as hard in my life. And being,
Now I go to climate rallies, just be like, free Palestine.
oh, tear gas. Firing up your 7-0 number.
Didn't see her much after that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that's a real wild one. Oh my god, I've never heard of tear gassing a woman. Let's go again.
Yeah.
It's wearing off. I'm gonna fire off some sillies to you.
You say swearing off?
Cheers to you. We're such alpha men. Let's not talk about our feelings. So, sausage roll or meat pie?
Meat pie.
Meat pie. What is the meanest thing anyone has ever said about your comedy? It could be in the moment or afterwards.
Somebody put a comment on one of my TikToks saying, this guy looks like he kisses his dad on the mouth.
Dude, I don't know what that guy looks like, but
I laugh for
You gotta
like
be
half
close.
a day. Yeah.
you gotta be close. If you had one strength as a lover, what would it be? Like, just tear gas and ladies.
Oh, look, I wish I had one strength as a lover.
Just one.
Duration.
Duration.
That'd be great.
That's good. Just so numb you can't feel anything inside or outside. Coles or Woolworths?
Coles.
Any thoughts on Spudshed though?
I don't know much about it. It wasn't here when I lived in WA.
Okay.
But everyone talks about it like it's a thing, and I'm happy for you guys.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Which celebrity would you just love to punch in the face if you could? Just to get it's free. You don't go to jail. Nothing. You just punch him right in the face.
Blake Richardson.
Oh, thank you so much.
Are you a celebrity?
No, but you're taking the opportunity.
Yeah.
to
But I believe in you.
But I might be a celebrity after
I
you
think
knock
you'll
me
get there.
out cold. Which celebrity would you love to kiss in the face?
Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew?
Yeah.
We could probably make that happen, dude.
Mate, money.
We're gonna shave you. We're gonna shave you
Handle his
hairless.
own medicine.
We gotta get you hairless. Okay, you have no weapons. You're trained. You realistically, how many 7-year-olds do you reckon you can kill with your bare hands before you're overwhelmed?
26.
26?
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
They're like size, like it's like a mixed bunch. There's ethnic kids, there's bigger ones, there's like smaller ones.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
12 ethnics.
12
26 whites.
That sounds like a recipe for an omelette.
That's a compliment.
12 ethnics, 26 whites. Whisk firmly. Something odd you find attractive in people.
Noses.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's so Voldemort. You're like, you fucking, you ugly bitch.
Lack of noses, I should have said.
Lack of noses. Any pet social peeves, like people being on the phone in public?
People that are rude to waiters.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, just like, what's
Deal
like,
breaker during dates.
Sure.
Yeah. Treat the little person like the... Yeah. Every
Yep.
chain of society should be...
The samesies.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Okay, and finally, like any like really early cringe memories from childhood that you just like it's bad. Like you try and shout it away in the shower when you.
I got lost as a kid in a shopping centre, and at the time I was reading Bert and Ernie books. I got lost, and then this is like my earliest memory. Got separated from my mum, and then my mum was walking around the shops, absolutely losing her mind. And then over the intercom, she hears, "Would Ernie's mum please come get him from the thing?" And she tells that story every time she has a wine.
Every time she has
which is
a wine.
5 times a week. Yeah.
she should heckle that entire story at one of your shows with the girls present. Mrs. Goundrey crushing it. Dude, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having a chat with me, man. Thank you for doubling up on the spice. You're a legend. Enjoy. Where can people find you as well?
Jarryd Goundrey on everything. Look at the face, find it, Google it, whatever.
You're the legend. Jarryd Goundrey, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.